In this week's show, the Freeride World Tour moves back to Europe as Courmayeur Mont Blanc hosts the second stage of the tour. Leo Salome, the 19-year-old rookie skier, talks about getting into freeride and the pressures of competing. Snowboarder John Radowski explains how to put jumps in your run. And of course, we have all the best action from the skiers and snowboarders as they compete for the title of Freeride World Champion. Located on the southern side of the Mont Blanc Massif and a stone's throw away from France is the alpine paradise of Courmayeur, Italy. With a vast unspoiled backcountry surrounded by towering glacial peaks, the landscape here is the very definition of epic. Founded in the 17th century as a spa town, Courmayeur has retained its classic old world charm. With the growth of mountaineering in the 19th century, Courmayeur began to welcome visitors coming to enjoy its other natural resources, a trend which has continued to this day. After days of snow, the athletes finally got a chance to check out the contest face, the north face of the Tête d'Arp, a face that has never previously been ridden in competition.
The face which is just behind me is facing north-northeast. It will be in the shadow, in the shade the whole day because mid-January the sun is pretty low, which means that the snow is not affected by the sun. The start structure will be at 2,400 meters elevation and the finish at 1,800, meaning a drop of 600 meters.
We could definitely do some tricks in there, I think. It looks pretty not too gnarly and not too steep. And the snow looks pretty landable and good.
Looks like it's full of jumps. There's probably 100 jumps that we can see from right here that people might hit. Sometimes we don't get to see the face from the top, and it's really helpful. You get to see your takeoffs and the different landmarks that you look for on your way down, which we can't really see that well from the judges' tent, so it's definitely helpful.
With the south side of the Mont Blanc as a backdrop, blue skies broke through to reveal a contest face stacked with fresh powder. Courmayeur delivered in style for the 33 skiers and 15 snowboarders that would be competing on the Tête d'Arp. Swiss snowboarder Emilien Badu was back in the gate after a 5th place in Revelstoke. Starting in bib number 9, Badu later confessed to nerves before his run, but a series of airs in the top couloir soon restored his confidence. He rounded off his run in style with a very powerful backside 360, which he over-rotated slightly, denying himself the chance of a higher finish. But still earning him a 3rd place on the podium with 76 points. Ralph Backstrom of Squaw Valley, USA came to Courmayeur as a points favorite, leading the rankings after his 1st place run at the previous event in Revelstoke. He headed a long way down the course to the untracked skier's right, where he dropped a smooth double clip drop. A solid enough big mountain run from Backstrom, but not quite enough for a podium on a course which seemed to favor the freestylers. Fifth place for Backstrom was 75.33 points. Riding close to home, Chamonix Jonathan Charlet was hoping to have a little more luck in Courmayeur. The reigning champ from 2012, his season got off to a disastrous start in Revelstoke after a high-speed stack sent him into the bottom of the rankings. Heading riders right, Charlet picked out a couple of good jumps, but his run wasn't as ambitious or as fluid as the other riders, meaning a disappointing 9th place and no redemption yet for Charlet. Having not competed in Revelstoke, all eyes were on former three-time Freeride world champion Xavier Delarue of France as he dropped in for his first contest outing of the year. Big, high-speed double cliff was the culmination of his run, but a fluffed landing cost him valuable points. He ended up in mid-table, taking 7th place. 23-year-old John Radosky of Jackson Hole, USA started his day near the end of the pack in bib number 12. He had a solid, if uneventful, run in Revelstoke in the previous stage, making 8th place on the steep lines of the Mac Daddy face. But here in Courmayeur, he really turned it up a notch. Taking a playful line, Radosky hit numerous features on his descent, enjoying himself in the new snow before taking a big mountain air over the main cliff. Which he followed up with a stylish method air, and then a big backflip off the natural booter below. A little more fluidity, and it could have been a first-place run, but nonetheless, second was still a great result for Radosky.
Second. What? Second. Shut up. Oh, dude!
Frenchman Aurélien Routin from Le Grave was on top form in Courmayeur, coming off the back of a third-place finish in Revelstoke. Choosing a line which had already been ridden by the skiers, Routin stayed high and found fresh snow, making a series of jumps with a fluid and controlled technique. Before opening up the throttle and gunning it to the bottom of the course. The top score of 83.67 points for Routin meant his first ever Tour win and enough points to send him to the top of the overall rankings. Today I was very stressed in the start gate. 5 minutes before, I still didn't know which way I was going to ride, whether I was going to go left or right. Well, then I made the decision to ride how I always ride at home in Le Grave. That's to say, big couloirs. Even though the snow in the couloirs was not so good, as lots of skiers had already ridden up there. I decided to stay in there anyways, and I found a little bit of creativity higher up.
He's only 19 years old, but he have the same mind like guys like 25 or 26 years old.
My name is Leos Lemet. I'm living in Chamonix-Mont-Blanc. Growing up here as a child, it was very magic. Skiing all the day during the winter with your friend, with different guys, it's very good to inspire you ski. I started ski when I was 3 years old. Yeah. It's not hard because I love snow, I love ski. I remember my first backflip. I was 10 years old. Before the freeride, I did a lot of competition in freestyle. I was in the top 5 in France. After I switched to the freeride to develop my skiing.
My name is Greg Lisco, the free ski team I created in 2002. For freeriding, the team is perfect for the kids who want to involve and become ski instructor or mountain guide, or like Leo, become a pro skier. The first time I met Leo, it was when he was 10 years old. And I told him, okay, come back in 2 years because you're too young. And he came back in 2 years after, I'm 12 years old. And after 1 season, in my mind, I always think he can do something. But I never told him for 5 years.
And Greg told me 2 years ago, Leo, you want to try a competition in freeride?
If you take the decision, I will try to be always on your back and push you. But after that, he decided to do, and I always told him for the last 3 years, you will do something and you will be somebody. When he was in the junior, I was very scared always because he progressed, but not like last season. Last season was amazing how he grew up in many ways.
Vinanda. For the final, I would like to do a 2 backflip into one face, and I have chosen 2 big cliff. And I landed my run perfectly. Now it was crazy. I think I never do that during a training. And wow, I am in the selection for the Freeride World Tour next year. Wow, crazy. I think it was my better moment of the season.
And yeah, for me, I'm always proud. But the more difficult things arrive now in the future.
For my ski, it's my confidence. Yeah.
In the terrain, I'm not scared for him. I'm more scared about the arena, the people around him, the pressure for the sponsor, the marketing, the journalist.
It's not easier when you have a lot of skiers speak with you about your run.
The stress for me is not like for him, for sure, because I will not be in the arena. For me now, he will arrive on the tour because he's young and he have a different spirit like guys like Aurélien. Aurélien have the experience, but Leo, imagine at 19 years old.
I'm the last person of the World Tour. It's cool because there are no skiers before me do that.
And I know what he can do and what he can show to the people.
I will be nervous, but now I'm very excited. When I am in the start of the competition, I imagine being in Chamonix, and I said in myself, oh Leo, stay strong, just a pleasure. Did you run like in Chamonix? And when I put on my music, my run starts too.
How's it sound? Check 1, 2. Yeah, what's up? My name's John Rodosky. I'm 23 years old from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Observe. Oh, well, I mean, I like to do jumps because they're a lot of fun. I think that's the same for everyone on tour. And just as far as the progression of the sport, it's really important to be spinning and flipping and doing tricks in your runs and not just hitting airs, but grabbing airs and doing 360s. So on tour, as that is related to judging, it's really important to do that within your run because you will be scored higher. And a cliff that's simple to straight air could be very complicated to do a spin off of. And the judges know that and they'll reward that accordingly. Well, for anyone trying to get out there and start hitting jumps back in the backcountry and start doing some real free riding, I think one of the most important things is to kind of know your limits, know where to start. You know, maybe find something a little bit smaller than you really want to, and then sort of move your way up as your experience level continues to rise, and really making sure you're not taking a huge risk, but at the same time progressing your personal abilities. As far as finding a good feature to spin off of or do a freestyle trick, one of the most important things is having it be solid. If it's super loose or like rocky on it, then you're not going to be able to get the edge and the base you need to sort of set that maneuver. Because if you're not in control when you take off, there's no way you could ever make that look good. As far as locating a safe, clear landing, it's very important to spend your time inspecting from the bottom. You never want to go into something blind and just hope for the best. So just find, you know, a good steep landing with some good snow, hopefully not a lot of rocks and trees in there, and just give her. Have some fun, send it, catch some air, get sick. Being able to look at terrain from far away and have an idea of how big it is. A lot of it has to do with just experience, you know, kind of what to expect and just generally what is a type of feature that lends itself to freestyle snowboarding. Doing freestyle on a run, having tricks in your line, it's what we're here for. You know, that's how I snowboard, that's how my friends snowboard, and that's what we want to bring to the contest. But the stakes are incredibly high. You have one chance, one run, one minute send that really defines your trip. So to do that, to try it, to fall, it's terrible. You know, you beat yourself up over it. But at the same time, it's so important to keep pushing the sport and progressing. And that's where I'd like to see it go, so that's how I'd like to ride.
Hiking their way up in near-perfect conditions, the 33 ski men competing here knew it would be anyone's day on a contest face like this, with its mix of steep big mountain lines at the top and freestyle-friendly terrain at the bottom. Taking an early bib, Swede Reine Barkerid, last year's overall champion, was keen to make up for his disappointing high-speed tumble in Revelstoke, which saw him take joint last place. Reine chose to ski a line in the popular main couloir, but he did it with maximum fluidity, using all the features in the fall line and stomping all of his landings, even on the main cliff band where a lot of other skiers had shut down their speed. A high score of 81 points saw Reine take third place.
It was a little bit nervous on top, but you know, the snow looked so good, and once I dropped in, I almost forgot about the contest because I had just so much fun riding. Being defending from the Freeride World Tour, I don't really think about that. There's so many good riders that every year is anyone's game, and you just have to think that it's a clean slate. So just do your best and hope for the best.
Jeremy Heitz of Les Maricottes, Switzerland, back on the tour after a year out, had already started his season in fine form with a hard-charging second-place run in Revelstoke. While he let it rip straight out of the gate, skiing on the limit with big open turns in the fall line couloir. Before entering the technical section on his left and dropping a fast double feature. Then finishing up with a high-speed hit off a spine. This creative combo of jumps and turns in steep technical terrain, all done with maximum speed and control, earned him an impressive 86 points. And another second place on the podium. The flying Hawaiian Drew Tapke of Crystal Mountain, USA, came to Courmayeur leading the rankings after a brilliant first stage win in Revelstoke, and must have been hoping to keep the momentum going here in Italy. He wasted no time heading to the main couloir before peeling off to the more technical skier's right-hand side, where he found some nice features to hit before charging the cliff band down below. Proving his versatility, Tapke then showed a freestyle game every bit as good as his big mountain technique, throwing a huge backflip off one of the features, followed by a smooth 360 off another. Unfortunately for Tapke, though, it was still only good enough for a 6th place.
It's hard coming to the next comp after winning. Definitely a lot of pressure because after you've won, you want to win again, but with so many good athletes, you know it's going to be a really hard battle.
Two-time Freeride world champion Aurélien Ducrot got off to a slow start with an 18th place in Revelstoke. But back in Europe and near his hometown of Chamonix, Ducrot's confidence was soaring once again. He rode a feature-packed top section with an almost seamless fluidity, linking a series of jumps before heading to the cliff band below, where he sent a huge jump, landing cleanly, but just missing out on a podium spot by a couple of points. 4th place for Ducrot. As the first Italian skier on the tour, Marcus Eder had already claimed a small piece of history just by turning up. But that was never going to be enough for this talented young freestyler from the Sud Tirol. A 9th place at Revelstoke had already hinted at his brilliance. But it was to be on his home soil of Italy that he would really make his mark.
2, 1, drop in.
Heading down the skier's right of the venue, he paused before dropping fast into a very steep and exposed line, dropping the cliff below with almost no hesitation. Three turns later, and still gunning it, Eder threw a huge left-hand 360 into a tight technical landing that gave him just enough room to swing hard left and continue his run. A big backflip off one of the playful natural hits lower down was the icing on the cake for Eder, and clearly having fun, he now rode switch down to the finish line. A final score of 89.67 points for Marcus Eder gave him his maiden victory, which was no doubt all the sweeter as it was in front of a home crowd. I'm mega stoked to be here in Courmayeur. As an Italian myself, I'm really happy. I did my run and I was really surprised when they told me I was leading at the finish line. I feel really, really lucky.
Erster Platz, das war schon ziemlich, also bin ja schon ziemlich glücklich.
The Austrian ski area of Hochfiggen once again held its renowned event, the Big Mountain Hochfiggen. One of only 7 4-star qualifiers worldwide, this contest attracts the highest level of skiers and snowboarders trying to make it to the Freeride World Tour.
Big Mountain Hochfiggen 4-star qualifier in Austria. We had massive snowfall during the last week. It's great powder in the face, untracked face. So the riders are really, really happy.
Estelle Ballet of Switzerland came in first place in the women's snowboard category with a fluid run of airs and powder turns. Veteran Flo Orley, already on the Freeride World Tour, showed up for a cameo appearance at his home resort. Dropping a series of cliffs into the deep pow, Orley showed his mastery of the Ostwand face, walking away with first place. Lorraine Huber of Austria was back competing after her first place at the Nonda 4-star event. Super motivated to make it back on the main tour, Huber had been training hard for the season, and it paid off again as she charged a burly line, taking a series of cliff drops to win first place. I'm extremely happy to win here in Hochfiggen. All the hard work is finally paying off. In the ski men, Loic Colompatin of France, with a couple of 4th places already under his belt, took a convincing first place, spinning a big cork 720 into a tight landing. Then spinning again with a 360 into another solid landing, followed by a fluid big mountain line to finish his run. This face is really interesting to ski, lots and lots of possibilities. And the snow is really good today, super coarse, super good ambience, awesome. After 2 successful editions in Chile, the Swatch Skiers Cup is heading to Europe, where the best skiers in the world will once more battle it out, this time in Zermatt in the Swiss Alps. The contest is based around the best skiers from the Americas competing against the best skiers from Europe over 2 days of competition. A backcountry slopestyle day where the athletes ride a mixture of shape jumps and natural features. And the Big Mountain Day, held on a steep, ungroomed backcountry face. With Team Americas under Captain Cody Townsend taking the title at the last event in Chile, Team Europe, captained by Swede Kai Zacherson, will be out for revenge and fighting hard to win back the coveted Skiers Cup. Plenty of snow already in Zermatt, and head guide and free skier Sam Atematen has been busy wrecking the area with course shaper and freeride legend Julien Renier. With this mix of amazing talent and natural beauty, this event is set to be a classic. In the next show, the Freeride World Tour crosses the border to the birthplace of alpinism, Chamonix in the French Alps. With epic snow conditions all over Europe and an amazing venue, the athletes are ready to compete once again for the title of Freeride World Champion.